Ted Jones messed with the wrong melon farmers.
Ted Jones, I also call him the eighth wonder of the real estate world.
Ted Jones, who knows, it could be...
Ted Jones?
The Ted Jones World Podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 60 of the Ted Jones World Podcast.
60.
Episode 60. Basically episode 61 because we just did an entire fucking episode without the memory card in. So, guys, Pat, how are you? To the left of the couch here.
I'm doing great. How are you?
Are you still doing well?
I'm doing as well as I was 35 minutes ago.
Okay, great. We have producer
like
Katie
40
over
minutes
there
ago.
in the tan chair. She is doing well. And guess what, boys and girls? Today, we are doing a movie episode. So on the last episode of the
film.
Ted Jones
We don't
World
say movie, we
podcast,
say film.
About 30 minutes ago, we were talking about films and
There you go.
which one we
Pictures.
have seen through quarantine and which ones we still appreciate. So I was talking about how I got through 48 episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender, just because I think, Pat, or I guess myself, but you included, we owe the viewers and listeners a part 2 of that Zach Eisen episode.
Yep.
So the first one, part 1, which is episode 42 of the Ted Jones World Podcast, we had Zach Tyler Eisen, who's the voice of Aang, the star of the show, the Netflix show, The Last Airbender. He came on, and I was not really prepared about what we were getting ourselves into. Has a big following, so right as soon as we posted it, got a lot of feedback.
The fans were a little upset that you didn't talk about the show and the arc of the show, which, in your defense, wasn't really what the episode was supposed to be about.
Right. They were a little upset, I think, that
which is
I
understandable.
didn't get into the life of Aang. I'm more so stuck to the life of Zach.
Right, exactly.
And kind of how he was doing mentally.
Right.
And he's doing great. And now I think we got to go back to the drawing board and find out how Aang is doing.
Yeah.
And also, side note, a little bit weird, but cool as well. My grandma and I were watching it at the same time. She finished the entire show a couple months ago. So we're going to run it back, hopefully have Zach here and Grandma on the same
At the same
episode.
time?
Yeah, the Ted
That'd be
Jones World
great.
Podcast, and then we just chop it up about Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I did say it was a kid's show initially, and we got in a little bit of trouble for that.
I still stand by that it was meant to be a kid show, but it can be enjoyed by adults.
Right?
Right?
Like a show on Nickelodeon.
Is that fair to say?
I mean, you've said it before. Like
People were just
SpongeBob.
offended. They were just took a huge offense that you called it a kid show, which I think was an overreaction. Sorry, I keep doing that.
Keep kicking the thing. So, Katie, how are you over there? We started off the episode talking about favorite movies, and you heard the show that I have been watching. But what have you seen during quarantine? Anything exciting from you, or what?
So I have been in and out of movie phase, TV phase. I'm backing out of a TV phase right now, going back into movies, but I will just give one piece for my TV phase that
Sure.
I was kind of only watching reality TV.
Mm.
Not usual.
What kind of reality? Are we
me.
talking like Jersey Shore, Floribama Shore?
I support reality TV. I think it's a good vice to have.
It's just seemed I'd rather watch reality TV than
Mm-hmm.
scripted TV because I think TV as a philosophy, it's a little bit like you watch a movie, you're committing to 2 hours, you're committing to that night. You watch a TV show, it's like, all right, I'll see you in a year.
Yeah, I get it.
If you're watching,
So I was watching Are You the One? I just finished. You ever watch that show?
I heard about it. What is it about?
So that's a show, and I watched. This is the only one they
Oh, that's
have
what
on
it's about.
MT.
It is
so
indeed
yes,
a show.
So no doubt about that, it's a show. Only have season 8 on MTV.com. That's all right. It's the queer season, which means they put
extra juicy.
extra juicy. They're all pansexual, which means that everyone's on the table.
Everything goes.
And they have been
Body parts
algorithmically
everywhere.
selected, the 16 of them, because each of them has a perfect match in the house.
Right. And they have to find the perfect
And they have
match
to find
for
the
them.
perfect
And if they
match.
don't, then they lose.
Algorithmic,
They
like
lose $1 million.
statistically,
Yeah, what's this, like
they have a
Instagram?
perfect match.
It's something algorithm. I don't know.
yeah.
They must have to cast like 1,000 people to get people's perfect match if it's for real. I can't imagine.
Or do you
Yeah,
think they're
I
really
mean-
trying that hard to get the perfect match?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, maybe not.
I
Definitely
don't think they
not.
really care if, like, at the end of the episode, they decide to go their separate ways. But also, I was watching
Oh,
The
yeah.
Office. I think I'm done with The Office, dudes. Steve Carell not being in the mix anymore after, what was it? It was probably like around like season 6 or whatever, and Ed Helms is just
I think
not
season
doing
7
for me.
is when they transition away from him.
And it's really a shame that Steve Carell wanted to go and
be a big movie star,
be a super big movie star. But like, what movie star? I mean, what movies did he really get into after he quit? Like Fox,
Evan Almighty, dude.
It's the Marissa Cooper
Evan Almighty,
a masterpiece.
Well, Marissa Cooper was in the OC, which
and
we
she
spoke
dipped
about
because she wanted to do movies.
She thought she was going to be super famous too. Marissa Cooper, Misha Barton.
Well, it's funny
Misha
now
Barton.
that you say that, but now the sentiment is that it's the golden age of TV, and TV is where it's at.
Are
like,
we still in that?
No, I think that was more of like a 2-3 year ago thing. Even though I think prefer a show right now than a movie, but people like the shows because it gives you longer to develop a character. These actors love like patting themselves on the back of how deep they get into it in a character, you know. So I think people like that. Whereas actually, I'm not a huge movie guy, which is weird because I love doing film and like I like making videos and editing and all that stuff, but I don't love watching movies. It's very odd. Like I've seen a lot of movies, but I prefer to like be on the internet or watch a TV show.
It's also tough if you're gonna be watching a full like 2.5 hour movie. You got to be locked in.
Yeah, you got to be locked in, and you have to pay attention, which I don't like.
That's hard.
My attention span has been ruined by the internet, so I can't like sit.
Phone, forget about it.
I have to rewind. Like I can't watch a movie with someone because I have to rewind parts, and I have like a little OCD where they say something too quiet and I can't hear them. I have to hear what they say. You
Go
know,
back 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So I got I was paying super close attention to the TV like 3 days ago when I watched this movie, The Shining. You guys ever seen this movie?
Great movie.
One of the better scary movies I've ever seen, and I hate scary movies just because they're so darn scary. So I haven't really gotten into them too much, but I think maybe more so as I go along. It's definitely something that brings the attention to whoever.
The Shining is not even real. It's a horror movie, but it's like a thriller on like a masterpiece type level. You know.
How do you mean?
It's just a movie that transcended. It changed, like, you know, it's a defining moment in cinema. You know,
right?
Like Stanley Kubrick and all the lore of the show, of the movie, of the set that hate to reference.
What is
hate to reference the first episode that we just trashed, but Katie was talking about some of the behind the scenes about how like guys like Hitchcock and Kubrick are a little militant on set, and it kind of makes their actors go a little crazy if they don't have the mental fortitude.
Right, so they just want their actors and actresses to just be as scared as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, some of them. Yeah.
I had heard in The Shining, like there were just scenes that were just done by like improv. Like she didn't know what was coming. She didn't know what was coming, so was just
the reaction was genuine.
Right, to be like terrified as hell.
Yeah,
and then
Shelley Duvall.
Shelley Duvall,
scenes like hundreds of times, and then apparently she's like not doing well, like living somewhere. Hopefully she's all right, but I don't know.
I think she really says that she never acted again after that.
No,
she
I
was
don't
like,
think she did.
just completely threw in the towel. That was it.
Right, and she was young too. She was like 31, 32 years old.
Yeah, I think you have to be. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to make any statements about people's mental states, but I've never been in that situation where, you know, I have to do a scene 100 times, but even if you don't know what's coming, like to not be able to separate that it's just a movie, that you're an actor and it's your job. I don't know. I don't want to say anything controversial.
No, I
think the same thing happened.
Shut.
Well, but the same thing it could have happened for like a Heath Ledger.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Right.
So what are you saying about Eyes Wide Shut?
I just watched Eyes Wide Shut again, and
I've never seen it.
Really good movie, but it's Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And I can't remember I think they were already married by the time they shot it.
Mm-hmm.
And Kubrick, right? Yeah, Kubrick played into their actual marriage.
They were married?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they were married. And
Sorry,
played into it so hard.
Nicole Kidman.
Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, they were. And then apparently she dumped him because of Scientology. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's inside of it, no doubt. But there's so much, like, again, lore. It's all the Kubrick.
Yeah.
What do you guys keep saying? What the shit does that mean?
LURE. Lore.
No, I think lore is.
Lore
I think it's LORE. No.
Okay, yeah. We'll
Yeah.
cut that out.
Lore and lore. I could be wrong. Like a lore, like a Let's fact check that. A lore is like.
Lore, LURE.
Okay, I was wrong.
But like folklore.
A lore, yeah, like a lore of.
Yeah, you're right.
It's hard to explain. I don't know.
It's like the
Mystique surrounding something, like things that maybe aren't quite fact, but you've heard things.
like the legend.
Exactly. That's the word I'm looking. The legend of that it's not explicitly known.
I feel like there are more movies with lore back in the day. There aren't so many movies since.
Well, yeah.
guess.
Now you hear everything that goes on a set because there's cell phones and people. When someone starts freaking out, they take a video of it.
Right.
Yeah, like you get to hear like the voicemail leaks. Of,
exactly.
Christian Bale like screaming.
The email hacks. Yeah.
Yeah, but where were they? Oh yeah, the two of whatever their marriage. They just like apparently like really messed it up in one way or another because they couldn't tell when they were acting or when they weren't, because it's just like they're playing husband and wife, and like Kubrick's just like asking them like, how's your actual marriage going? And he's like, it's pretty good. He's like, really? It's pretty good? What do you mean it's not great? And he's like, no, I mean it's good. And then just like pulling into it.
Those directors will get you.
They'll get you.
Well, but like Heath Ledger, I feel like people say that he went. Well, I think that's another lore. It's kind of a rumor that he went crazy because of the role, which I think is just a rumor.
But his character in that movie was so nuts, licking his
it wasn't
lips and all that
nuts
crap.
though. There are people who go live that real life. That have people like monsters in their lives and they turn out fine. Where this guy was just playing. And there's also there's so many really messed up characters in the history of movies where people didn't go insane after playing the part.
Right.
It's not like the Joker was the most.
I mean, he must have gone into that.
He definitely already had.
Right. Well, like a Christian Bale has gone through so many different weight transformations.
Exactly.
And,
He's
character
fine.
roles.
Did you see Vice?
He seemed fine. Yeah, I did see.
I
Vice
saw
when
Vice.
He was like
I thought it was so
fat.
boring, but it was crazy how fat he got.
I thought that was really good. He got so fat for Vice.
And he got really skinny for The Machinist too.
I never saw that.
He got dropped insane amount of weight for The Machinist. Who's basically
he's one of the better actors in my opinion. Who do you think's one of the better actors that you know of, or a person who you just don't mess with and is overrated?
Thanks for that setup.
Yeah, I had to set you on that.
I was saying that my very controversial opinion is I think that Leonardo DiCaprio is like very overrated.
Which is a big opinion. We were talking about also Basketball Diaries. He was phenomenal in
Basketball Diaries.
He was there like
I think What's
17.
Eating Gilbert Grape was his best performance, where he played a young man with Down syndrome.
No way, really?
Yeah, it was his first movie. His first big movie
was that he was a kid with Down syndrome.
Yeah, it's so good. It's called What's Eating Gilbert Grape. His brother is Johnny Depp. Is the big brother.
How old is he in that movie?
Young, preteen, I believe. Or maybe teenager. How old is he?
He was 19.
In What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
What? Is that possible?
No way.
Yeah, he was born in 1974 and it came out in 1993. So he was like 17.
Wow, I thought he was way younger.
Like boys look young.
Yeah, boys look. Yeah.
Boys look young.
I guess. Yeah.
I guess so. But also like DiCaprio the more and more his movies have come out, like the less
like he's only been in good. He picks great movies, and he's never.
Is that from when
he's
started,
a great
though?
leading man. He's a big blockbuster guy. He's never really in gritty roles, unless when he was younger. And I think like his accents in movies aren't believable. Like I've never seen a movie where I'm like, that's not Leonardo DiCaprio, which is maybe because he's not really a character actor like Johnny Depp, who gets dressed up and he doesn't. He's a pirate, But like Daniel Day-Lewis, I think, where I've seen movies where it's like, I don't think it's Daniel Day-Lewis. I think it's Bill the Butcher from Gangs of New York.
Right, just like kind of changing his whole demeanor from like how he actually is in real life and then how he is on screen. Because I guess you're right. Like movies that I have seen him at, like a Departed or like a Wolf of Wall Street, you definitely like, all right.
Like he yells in every movie. Like he screams and his vein bulges and people are like, wow, he's such a good actor.
Yeah.
Shutter Island is good.
What do you think about
but
Inception?
He's in good movies.
What about Inception?
Inception is frustrating because it's confusing, which
right,
I don't like.
All right, then let's speak about another heartthrob.
I'm not saying he's a bad actor. I don't think he's Daniel Day-Lewis. I think Matthew McConaughey as of late has been a lot better. I think there's a
Dallas
reason why he
Buyers
loses
Club.
out to all these actors for
And he's
Best
only
Actor
won-
every
he's
year.
only won one Oscar,
Which people
right?
will argue that the Oscars don't mean anything and it's just a popularity contest. But if so, he's he's such a popular actor. Why hasn't he won?
What would you say about a Brad Pitt, another delicious-looking gentleman?
Another guy who's these guys who are. I mean, would they be where they are if they weren't like the best looking guys in the world? You know.
Maybe.
Are they just?
Well, I mean, they're all charismatic. I'd say.
Yeah,
Well,
of course. That's
last
part of
people
being an
that we've
actor.
mentioned, yeah.
But I think there's a difference between Like, I think you have to be very charismatic to be a leading guy, like Leo is, to be in these blockbuster movies, you know? But to be in, like, a Dallas Buyers Club
You gotta
where
really fit the role.
Jared Leto had to play a trans person suffering from AIDS, and what's his name? Matthew McConaughey was like this cowboy who was this tough guy who ended up getting AIDS. Who, if you guys don't know the story, they both get AIDS, and there's this medicine or medication that isn't fully like approved by the FDA. It hasn't really come out yet, but there's a buying cohort.
Like a Dallas Buyers Club.
Exactly, the Dallas Buyers Club, where a bunch of people with the same illness buy this medicine from somewhere else at a group rate so they can all afford it. But I don't want to give it away, but
No
I
spoilers.
didn't even really know.
but it's
the
just
full
like
story
you
about
watch it and you're like, holy shit, these like you really
that.
think
It
it's
doesn't look-
them.
You're right. It doesn't look like the actor.
Right, yeah.
Like it looks like the character.
Mhm.
I guess
Where
is
you
what
believe,
mean.
even just like it's easy to just transform your look, like, but to actually make it believable too, you know?
Well, I thought Brad Pitt. Speaking of Brad Pitt, in Fight Club was kind of like that. I was
Speaking
like,
of Brad
wow.
Pitt.
This
Yeah,
guy is just
that was a physical
badass.
transform. I never seen Fight Club.
It's a pretty.
That's
good
a good
movie.
one. I was just thinking before you said Brad Pitt about Once Upon a Time.
I haven't
That's
seen
like-
that either.
Oh, you have to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, that probably plays into your point because Leo DiCaprio plays like a big shot celebrity.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
it's
right,
so
right,
good.
right, right.
Yeah, I've heard
Once
it's
upon a
great. And
time
Brad Pitt-
in Hollywood.
Yeah. And
Right.
Brad Pitt is like maybe his foil, who's kind of this just like dude. He's a stunt man, and he just like wants to be famous, but like wants to be famous for being a badass and can't
Yeah.
really get it. And it's just so good.
I
Yeah, I
feel
gotta
like-
watch it.
I feel like someone who's just been kind of the same their whole career put out like a lot of movies that are good, but people don't really people aren't so drawn to is a guy like Adam Sandler. I saw this list. I didn't look through the list today, but it said a ranking of Adam Sandler's movies from worst to least worst.
What did they
Yeah,
say
he
the
made-
worst was?
Yeah, what
didn't
did
know-
they say the
I
worst?
didn't know.
The one where he plays like
But
the
I hope-
mother.
I
He
hope
plays his
not
own
Clink.
mother.
Oh, Jill and Jill.
Yeah,
Jack and Jill.
Oh,
God.
that's so
Something.
yeah, no.
You know,
I've
he
never
has
even-
Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison.
I mean, those are I feel like
Waterboy,
Water-
Mr.
I feel like those
Deeds.
hold up.
Those
I think
hold up.
they're not meant to be cinematic masterpieces. They're meant to
True.
be like mindless comedy.
Has Adam Sandler ever won an Oscar? No.
No, there was the same night at this might be kind of wrong, but I
Click?
think the same night for Click as Oscar night, whatever last year. Was that this year or last year that Uncut Gems came out?
This last Oscars, yeah.
Right. Then whatever the Spirit Awards, you
Mm-hmm.
saw that speech he gave for that. He won for Uncut Gems, and then he did an entire like Billy Madison voice acceptance speech
I didn't even
at
see
the
that.
Spirit Awards. It was so good.
I think he got people were saying he got snubbed he didn't even get nominated for an Oscar for Uncut
I
Gems.
think
A
the
lot of people say
timing was off or something like that.
Could've
right?
been.
I had heard that.
You know
Yeah,
who was supposed to be? You know who was supposed to be play that?
Who?
What was his name in the movie? I don't remember. Jonah Hill. There was like a scheduling issue, and Jonah Hill couldn't do it.
Oh, I'm so glad Jonah Hill didn't do it.
yeah, same.
Yeah,
I
feel
like Jonah
Adam
Hill.
Sandler did
I
a good
don't.
job.
I kind of don't even like want him to act
No.
anymore.
Ever
Well, I don't
since-
think he's
ever
gonna
since-
act.
Ever
He's
since
more of like a
ever since
director now.
Superbad, I think that was like my quota of Jonah Hill.
Well,
I thought he was amazing.
Moneyball.
Well,
What was that movie? What was that awesome movie?
Superbad is one of the best
Southampton-
comedy movies of all time.
Southampton Institute of Technology. What
South
movie?
Harmon.
Accepted.
Accepted.
Yeah,
So-
that
he's
Oh
in
my
Accepted?
God.
Yeah, ask me about my wiener.
that's
Is that him?
Yeah, that was him.
Oh, I
So
hate
fat
Justin
in that
Long, by the
movie.
way.
I don't really like Justin
I don't like.
Long.
I did like Waiting though.
Waiting
Waiting was great.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, that was great.
a-
Dane
Is
Cook.
Waiting like part of the same series as Accepted? It's like the
Kind
prequel.
It's kind of like that group of people, like the Judd Apatow group, or like the Billy Madison, or
It's
the
basically just
the
like
same crew.
A bunch of people just waiting tables and like
at like a
okay.
chill,
working
the
in a
equivalent of like a
restaurant.
TGI Fridays.
Yeah, and they spit in all the food.
Yeah,
Really good
it's
movie,
great.
I
It's
guess,
great.
Since we're talking about good movies, Waiting, definitely not an Oscar-worthy movie, but super good. What about like Russell Crowe? Why do people love that
Russell
guy
Crowe's-
so much?
People like Russell Crowe.
I don't know
What was the last?
anything
What was
about
that? I mean, he was in. Well, I don't even fully know.
What is he like? What is he? South
African?
African? What is he? Or no?
Super fat now.
He's
Australian.
New Zealand. He's
New
a
Zealand.
Kiwi.
He's a Kiwi.
Oh, he's a Kiwi.
He's
He
a
would hate to
Kiwi.
hear that, huh?
He got in trouble for freaking out on
Australians and
someone.
New Zealanders hate
Speaking
that.
of,
yeah.
like blowing up on set, I believe.
I'm looking
You're
at
a
Russell
fucking
Crowe.
idiot. Like he went off on someone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I
Remember that.
googled Russell Crowe freak out, and I can either click Russell Crowe walks out of interview, Russell Crowe grumpiest man alive, bizarre Russell Crowe Instagram video, Russell Crowe storms out of BBC interview. This guy freaks
he's
out.
a little.
you know what? I feel
problem.
like also if you freak out one time, people will kind of get your number for freaking out. I don't know if this was ever a freak out video, but did you guys see the Shia LaBeouf video when he was like,
another great actor.
do it!
Yeah.
You gotta do it!
Yeah.
Just fucking do it!
Some of these actors become like caricatures of themselves, like him.
Like a really evolved version. Like Even
Yeah.
Stevens was a great show.
Great show.
Shia LaBeouf on Even Stevens. And then he was in Transformers I didn't really mess with.
He's
Yeah.
been in a lot. He was in Honey Boy, which apparently was great. I didn't see
exactly.
it, but
What was it? That's on like Amazon right
it's
now.
about himself,
Maybe.
I think, right?
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Or it was
I
Honey-
saw
no, the other
Boy.
one.
How did you
Peanut
feel
Butter
about
Falcon
that?
too.
Peanut Butter
Boy
Falcon is
like-
about him, right?
No, Honey Boy.
Honey
is.
Boy is okay.
It's a good movie. I just like he gives you nothing to latch onto. It's like it's very autobiographical,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like I walked out being like, "Oh, that was a good movie that I enjoyed," but I know I would only love it if I were Shia LaBeouf.
What was
I
that
get
movie
that.
that was that movie that they just did a table read of and he had memorized
Fast
all
Times
the-
at
that was-
Ridgemont High.
No, it was,
it?
Oh, you're right.
No,
it
it
was
was Fast Times.
at
Yeah.
Ridgemont High.
That's why I had gotten.
He was playing
too confused
Spicoli.
eventually. Like,
Yeah.
he was just playing like a stoner pothead.
Yes,
He was playing,
Spicoli.
yeah, it was so good.
I haven't seen that movie.
Oh yeah, he played.
You gotta watch
Well,
that.
who's
movie.
who actually
Fast
played
Times at
him?
Ridgemont
Sean
High.
Penn.
Sean Penn, who was doing the
yeah,
table
who
read
was
as
doing the
well.
table read and he
Oh,
was
yeah.
loving it.
Yeah, he just got in
Sean
trouble though.
Penn.
Didn't he just get arrested?
Who?
Shia.
Oh yeah,
Something.
this is from like previously beating someone up.
Yeah,
Also, I was listening on the street today. Two guys were screaming at each other, telling
About Shia LaBeouf.
No,
arguing about
No, yeah,
Peanut
they're
Butter
like,
Falcon
"He
was a good
fucking
movie.
good."
Who's the most
Stevens.
legendary actor? They're
One
fighting
guy-
about Brad Pitt versus Leo.
One guy was outside. He was like, "Come on, man, put him up." And the other guy was like, "No, man, you come here, put him up." Like, I couldn't imagine what I would get into. It's like, what would make me on the street with somebody walking by get into a fight, an argumentative fight like that? You know, like I can
Yeah.
understand.
Some people have
maybe,
short fuses.
I can maybe understand, you know, if you're driving to the city and you cut someone off and they're like, "Get the fuck out of the car! Get the fuck out of the car!" That's road rage. It's like, what the hell is walking rage? You know what I mean? Like, how would you even get that upset at something? You have a pretty long temper. You know what I mean? You don't get too
It's like the
upset,
opposite of short temper.
fuse.
Yeah, I didn't know where you're going with
Could that
that.
be something? Yeah, you have a long temper. It takes you a longer time to get mad.
I guess, yeah.
In terms of strangers, I mean.
Strangers, yeah.
When's the last time
But
you got in a fight?
I'll clap back at someone.
Yeah, you would. You're sassy.
Yeah.
When's the last time you got in a fight with someone? I know we
I
were
don't get.
talking about this a while
I'm
ago.
with my friends. We go back and forth.
Just like shitting on each other,
Yeah,
but like getting mad at.
not really getting mad, but no. I guess I could be defensive sometimes, like a
Right.
little too defensive. But I also can dish it out. So I learned how.
Yeah,
I've
you gotta
learned
learn
to.
how to play that defense.
Yeah.
What about you, Katie, over there?
I
Well,
am
you
not
have, you
a
have,
fighter.
right, but
Yeah.
you have
I'm not a
roommates,
fighter.
so it could,
Yeah.
it could pop off at any time with roommates. As
Yeah,
as
it's
young
always a
20-something
possibility.
year-old.
It's a,
Yeah.
me and my roommates, we always know it's possible.
Okay,
we
so
keep
then-
we keep it civil.
What do you think would be the biggest issue or the biggest fight that you'd have with your roommate on an ongoing basis? Since Pat and I don't have roommates, we don't know anymore.
Right.
We
I
forgot
mean,
about that.
It's like cleanliness.
Mm-hmm.
Like
That's always, I feel like,
It's
a
always
big
a thing.
one.
That's
Like leaving the dish
it.
leaving a dish in the sink from like a
I don't
roommate
even mind.
perspective.
Leave a dish in the sink. Like I can live with that. It's when you leave like food in the sink.
Yeah.
That's like,
That's what my roommates used to get mad at me because I'm not dirty. I'm just disorganized. So I'll go to bed and I'll leave my backpack and my laptop on the table. And I'll leave my things around, which obviously I've grown out of. I'm more, but there's
well,
a
now
fine.
that you live alone, nobody fucking knows.
There's a fine line between being dirty and being messy. You know,
Totally.
I would never like leave food out,
wait.
which is disgusting.
Is there?
Oh, yeah.
dirty
Yeah,
and
for
messy.
sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
So dirty is like leaving a half-eaten sandwich.
Yeah, not clean, not like physically like wiping. If you spill something, you're just like, oh, whatever, leave it. You leave the sink kind of nasty.
So a
I leave like things or like objects around that my roommates didn't like.
So would you say messy is leaving a dish in the sink and dirty is leaving a dish out with food on it? Is that fair?
That's
if the dish, But I like messy might be like
My shoes, my shoe. I left my
Yeah.
shoes under the table,
Or your
or
clothes are out.
not usually clothes, but just things like I'll work on my laptop and I'll leave my laptop and I'll leave my jacket sitting there and my backpack sitting there.
This is an interesting thing since you have a boyfriend, Katie, and Pat and I both do this. I would say weekly. Shaving situation, like leaving any sort of hair around.
I never did that.
Don't do
around
it.
the sink.
Yeah, no, I can't do
I
that.
had a roommate one time, and that was a thing that just got me. Like,
That's nasty.
Because how
That's a
else is
that's
it
a
gonna
dirty
be?
thing.
Is it dirty?
'Cause
or
that's
messy?
hygiene.
It's dirty.
So dirty's
Which
hygiene.
I guess you could argue that leaving your shoes out is a hygiene thing too, but I think
It's more like I think messy is annoying
Yeah.
and dirty
Dirty
is
implies,
disgusting.
like, should be
Dirty
unacceptable,
implies
yeah.
not clean.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. Like if really like when you're dirty, if you have a roommate and you're dirty, then you're messing up the roommate. But if you have a roommate and you're messy, like you're mostly just messing up yourself because
Right,
you're like
exactly.
I gotta go, but I can't find my phone. anywhere.
Exactly. Like if you're leaving food out and you're making the apartment like have roaches or
Stink,
something,
yeah.
or you have a
You
smell
a dirty
because you
ass messy bitch.
Exactly.
So we're talking a little bit about apartments and roommates and favorite movies. So
This is the best movie episode.
This is a topic of conversation for both of the people we have here. Pat on the couch and Katie over there on the brown chair. Katie looking at apartments. So Katie's looking to move out of her apartment pretty soon. Pat looking to move out of his soon. But let's hear it first, Katie. So what are you looking for now that you're moving out of your apartment with you're not moving back into an apartment with the two roommates that you have now, right?
No, they're gonna stay.
Are you? Oh, they are going to stay.
They're
So they're
staying.
replacing you and renewing the lease.
Yes.
And how are they going to go about replacing you?
I'm not asking a lot of questions about it. I kind of
You should probably get out of there
I
before they make
posted-
you pay.
I said I was like, all right, I'll help you.
Mhm.
You know, I posted on Instagram. I was like, anybody look for a
Yeah.
one bed?
Oh yeah, I might have seen
Anybody
that
want
quickly.
one bed?
Wait, when is your lease up though?
December 1st.
Okay, so you have about 5 weeks or so.
Yeah, I'm deciding if I'm gonna go home, save some money
Hmm.
for a couple months, or if I just dip. If I find like a great place, I need to stop looking. My thing is like I've been looking since like probably August. I'll
That's
find
like
the best
that,
place. I'm like,
too.
I'm just gonna eat it.
But I feel like
whatever.
that's also like everyone, you know, like when you're
Yeah.
moving out, you're like so antsy to find that like cool new spot
Yeah.
that it might not work. Pat, what's your deal, bro?
I don't know. I'll let you know next week. I have to move out by I move out November 1st. So I'll either be moving back to Connecticut or into a new apartment. So
All right,
I'll
well,
let you know.
we're rolling the dice there. We're excited to hear what happens to that.
There's always room for you on the Ted Jones World couch.
There also
Exactly.
is Pat, as I've told you, there are at least 6 apartments in this building that are all vacant. I think 1 or 2 are actually still open because they have brokers running in and out.
Yeah.
So if we want to set up an air mattress just for the night,
For sure.
you just
Feel
bring
it
one
out.
over and we'll be fine.
Yeah, you gotta bring it.
Yeah, I have to bring it though.
You gotta
We
bring-
can totally set up an air
and
mattress
dude, and you're
once
out
you
by
bring
6
one.
a.m. As long as you're out by 6 a.m.
Yeah.
the following morning, that's funny. At actually at the school I used to go to, they had a homeless shelter, and I guess they put in beds, and then as long as everybody was out by like 5 a.m. before the kids came in, it was real nice.
It's
touch.
fair.
Friends Seminary, nice
fair.
work.
So we can do that for you.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But also Friends Seminary, I think. Well, hopefully the principal from Friends Seminary didn't listen to that. What was that other episode when I talked about how I was lying about getting mugged?
Yeah.
I upped security at that school. I made it a safer school, so I don't feel so bad about lying.
Yeah,
the
you're like
fact that
the-
I got mugged.
You're like the Rudy Giuliani of Friend Cemetery.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Can
Speaking
we
of
talk
which,
about
let's
that?
Let's talk about this. Borat 2 coming out Friday, October 23rd, which, depending on what day it is today, I don't know what day you're listening to this podcast.
True.
But it's Friday, October 23rd, and apparently Rudy Giuliani has gotten himself in some hot water.
Oh yeah.
He is shown in this like picture. It looks like he's reaching down into his pants, touching his wiener, dude. So this is what happened. Borat had hired I'm putting this in quotes, his daughter, his underage daughter, to give an interview to Rudy Giuliani.
Is that what it is? It was an
let me
interview?
Not
try
actually.
and get through
Not
it. So
actually like Sacha Baron Cohen's daughter, like the fake daughter.
a fake
Yeah.
daughter who was. So Sacha Baron Cohen, Borat, tells Rudy Giuliani, "Oh yeah, like this is my underage daughter. She's just gonna conduct the interview with you." So while she's conducting the interview with him, She's like touching his leg a little bit, just being like super flirtatious and
Was
inappropriate.
Borat in part of this?
I don't know. I haven't seen the movie, but
because he would have had to know who Borat
He wasn't.
is.
He wasn't in the room.
Okay,
I mean, he definitely was not. But
was he part of it at all? Like you would have to know, right?
I don't know.
But you were saying maybe he
haven't
just
seen it
couldn't
yet.
even help it. Maybe he knew, and he
Yeah,
was
so
just
anyway.
still being like a.
Okay. So this girl who's supposedly like 15 or 16 years old starts interviewing Rudy Giuliani. It gets really weird. The questions like don't make any sense, but he's loving it because he's getting like a lot of attention from this younger girl.
Yeah.
So like she takes his microphone off and he reaches into his pants and it looks like he's about to whip out his wiener, dude. And he's saying like, oh, like I was tucking in my shirt. These are fabricated lies, blah blah blah. You know all the stuff that they say when they're not, when they got caught. So this movie comes out, and we'll see what the hell is gonna happen.
Well, he's been
with
saying
your boy Rudy
he's
Giuliani.
been saying some wild stuff lately. Anyway,
How do you mean? But he has.
He's been in the news for just being.
He used to. Everyone used to like that guy, right? When
Yeah,
he was
he
like
had
the
his
mayor. Oh, he
moment.
was the mayor of New York during 9/11, which
Well,
was like a good time to be mayor.
Speaking
America's
of,
mayor.
he kind of turned around when.
After he lost to Mitt Romney for
Well,
the Republican
Yeah,
nomination.
but like we were talking about before, Taxi Driver. Where if you've seen Taxi Driver, it was like the late '80s New York, which was
with Robert De Niro.
not a very desirable place, or it was very dangerous.
He
And
turned
he's-
around New York.
Yeah, he's credited with stepping up
The
police
police force,
presence
right.
and cleaning up homeless, and which is who knows.
Another
But,
another movie I'd recommend, Taxi.
Yeah,
with
Taxi or
Robert De Niro.
Taxi Driver?
I don't know which one's with Robert
Taxi's
De
the one with Queen Latifah.
yeah.
Niro. And Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon.
That was a good movie too. I
Taxi
recommend
Driver is
both of
great,
those.
yeah.
Taxi Driver and Taxi.
Travis Bickle.
Yeah.
That's his name.
I think that Robert De Niro's could be, since this is the movie episode.
Yeah.
I think that Robert De Niro is my favorite actor.
Yeah,
Interesting.
he's pretty great. I never really
I
thought
liked
he was
him-
that great until I saw Taxi Driver.
I
love Goodfellas,
I liked
but-
him. I really liked him in Goodfellas. He was great in that movie.
Yeah, he's
Goodfellas
definitely got
and
range.
Scarface, I think. two
But
of my
I think
favorite
he
gangsta movies.
I think later in his career he kind of became, not even later, after Goodfellas, he was kind of more synonymous with like the gangster boss kind of like.
Right, and he's kind of been
role.
playing that role even in Meet the Parents, Meet the Fockers.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Like
that.
kind of the
still
hard
like
ass
the
like
hard-ass-
yeah.
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
he's like he almost plays like the guy who used to play a bunch of mobsters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Has he ever been soft in a role? That man. You guys can think of one off the top of your head, just like a nice, sweet guy.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't
mean,
know
like,
his
yeah.
catalog.
That's also like he's like pretty. He's pretty nice in The Irishman. I mean, he's like a mobster.
I didn't see that movie. That was a good one.
He's
That's a
he's a hitman with a heart.
I think he always plays a hitman with
yeah,
a heart.
yeah,
Right.
I think that's
exactly.
kind of
Yeah,
his
yeah, yeah, yeah.
staple. Like he's got a dark side, but he's like a good dude.
Right.
But I've never seen him in a movie where he just like plays like a baseball coach.
yeah, yeah.
Oh wait, what was that movie? I was thinking, A League of Their Own. The coach who kind of looks like Robert De Niro, who's not Robert De Niro. That's why I was
see.
thinking
I don't know.
baseball coach.
I'm on the Ted Jones World laptop.
Oh yeah, Katie's over there just doing that research. So when Pat and I just spew something nonsensical, it could get fact checked pretty quickly.
Are you talking about Tom Hanks?
Oh my god, I am talking about Tom Hanks.
I've
Not
never
at
seen this
all, though.
movie.
Yeah,
but
no,
They're
but
not
Tom
alike at
Hanks.
all.
Tom Hanks is a good little actor. Castaway,
COVID
one of the,
survivor.
One of the.
I
better-
thought
yeah.
Captain Phillips was great.
I need to see that.
I
It was
never saw
great.
that.
Wait, what was it? I am the captain now. I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
You
I'm
see
the captain
Castaway?
now.
You like Castaway?
Yeah, Castaway's
so
good.
Simple. Wilson. So simple.
Yeah, he's a great actor. He's great. He's like America's dad,
He is.
but not really because he doesn't play those kind of roles. But you know what I mean.
Dude, I
He
saw
is,
him on
yeah,
an
I mean-
iPhone ad. I was like, geez, dude, is
They were-
everybody paying you now?
That was the big like conspiracy when he got COVID, that they were like, who can we like, that it was fake. Like, who can we get to like scare everyone?
right.
Like
that's
Into
so
thinking that
funny.
it's
that
real.
someone, yeah, because like we'd be so scared because he's such like everyone loves
It's
him.
like America's
because,
sweetheart.
Yeah,
needed
exactly.
to get it. Okay, all right. I have a sentence. Donald Trump is the Tom Hanks of the second wave of coronavirus. In the same way that it's like the very first time
He got
around.
it at the perfect time.
He got it right in time for this like
He
real.
couldn't
Mm-hmm.
have gotten coronavirus at a better time, and then he also couldn't have shrugged it off at a better time. And all of his supporters are like, yeah, he's just like Iron Man. He's
Yeah,
like
just
Tony.
like-
He's like
Were people
Tony-
saying that?
Dude, he's like
Tony
Tony
Stark.
Stark. And then this interview goes to him. He goes, Well, so you think like like Tony Stark is a person who goes and looks out for everyone's best interests, right? And doesn't want anyone to die and stuff. And he's like, yep, of course, same thing as Donald Trump. And then he's like, well, how come you aren't wearing a mask? He's like, well, wearing a mask is more of like an optional thing, I think. So like, yeah, people clearly just thinking coronavirus is not a thing because Donnie T is immune, and he also got.
He was like, maybe I'm immune. I don't know.
So
funny.
Under the sun.
It's literally like a guy who like isn't sure if they have whatever you have in stock. You're asking if they have like this movie in stock at Best Buy. He's like, I don't know. Maybe we might have it. It's like insane.
It could be funny to actually hear what cured him, if there is such thing as something that cured him. Tonight is actually the second presidential debate. So Pat, who are you rooting for, man?
I'm not rooting for anyone.
You just want a clean battle?
No, I want a dirty battle, but
I do want a dirty battle too. And then also the fact that they're muting the opening statements isn't that exciting. I would much rather that they mute throughout the whole thing.
I can't wait to see
Donnie T just walking off.
I can't wait to see Trump's reaction when he gets muted. He's just gonna do that face. He's gonna.
Yeah.
He's just gonna like.
That's so funny.
He's gonna be so angry about it.
He has done a great job in terms of keeping his supporters who like him still liking him. I don't know. I don't think.
I mean, he could like they said he could shoot somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue and nobody would care. But I think like I wonder if Joe Biden's gonna like do well with all that silence though, right?
What do you mean?
It's almost like in the last debate, Donald
Trump was revving him up.
He was like going off and he was negging him and definitely.
Come on, man.
Shut up.
Will you shut up, man?
Yeah, and he was like, would you shut up? But I think like that kind of gave Joe Biden an edge versus if they're just going to be like, all right, Joe Biden, what would you say for 2 straight minutes if Donald Trump was completely silent the whole time? And he's like, you jack Flabbit Ranger horse.
The hairs on my arms were blonde, and they used to sway in the wind, and all the kids would sit on my lap.
You guys also see that already Russia and Iraq are, Iran are meddling in the election.
Yeah.
Who do you think they're meddling? Who do you think they're meddling for, though?
I don't.
They just want chaos.
Yeah, watch your
they want.
answer.
They
right?
want.
You gotta stay.
It's
stay
so
political.
dumb that you can't just vote on your phone already, and you can't have an app. And you put in your fucking phone number, you put in a picture of your passport, and then that's it, and then you vote.
They want people to vote so bad, and they make it where you have to go to some public library that you didn't know existed to go vote. It's like
and you have to wait online.
Exactly.
It's so easy.
Everyone
to vote.
coughing on
Everybody
you.
better. It's your right to vote, man. It's your right to wait online for 4 hours at a public library.
So this year, some celebrity who I don't even remember posted a video back in September being like, we're gonna have a shortage of poll workers this election, and so democracy is going to shit and all that, and so I said I will do it. I'll step up.
Yeah,
like Seth Rogen.
Why? Because it's typically old people and they can't go out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's just like they're closing down so many poll sites. So I really impulsively was just like, it's gonna be me. I'm gonna do it. And so I signed up.
Of you.
I have a heart of gold.
You do.
I have a heart of gold. So I signed up to do it. Bureaucracy, they didn't get back to me for a month, and then I had to call a bunch of times. I finally got in touch with them after total probably 2 full hours on hold.
Wow.
And they were like, oh yeah, someone didn't totally input your information. There's only 2 training sessions left. You can go tomorrow or the next day. It's like, oh, okay. So I went yesterday to the Javits Center, which is famously where they invented the coronavirus.
That also could not be further from your apartment.
Could not possibly be further from my
Bushwick,
apartment.
Brooklyn.
Smooth 15-minute walk after I got off the subway. Yeah. And I'm in a room with maybe 20 other people, safely socially distant. And while I will say I can see now why, in a way I didn't realize before, you kind of can't fraud the election. Mm-hmm. You also see that everyone working the polls are just people who
volunteer.
Yeah, they just show up and then they go through 45 minutes of iPad training and then 2 hours of this guy just talking about how the machine works, and so then in the end you take an open book test.
And now you're going on November 3rd on election
November
day.
3rd.
Which polling station? At the Javits Center?
I don't know yet. No, they haven't told me yet, but I could go anywhere in the city.
But
it's 5 a.m. to 10 p.m.
And you get paid for it.
And I get paid for it.
A flat rate?
Yeah. I will get paid $100 for The Training Day, which was
Yeah.
4 hours.
Okay.
That great movie
bad.
also, Training Day.
Right.
And then I
Denzel Washington.
Denzel. yeah.
Denzel, great movie.
Great actor.
And then I go on election day and I make $325.
Whoa.
Not
So
bad.
425 for
425.
that's like you're making like 30 an hour.
It's gonna be pretty brutal though.
Yeah, it will be.
And
pretty
after
brutal.
tax, it's gonna be like
And I'm gonna
$100.
influence. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna influence the course of the 2020 election.
Hey, that is terrific, and we love to hear that. Katie, thank you for joining us over there in the brown chair and your microphone today, Mrs. Fact Checker. Doing great things, Katie. We're gonna have you on the show for however many more episodes we do it. Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Pat, producer Pat, we're still looking into your life story, man. So let us know what's happening.
I'll keep you
Episode
updated.
60 of the Ted Jones World Podcast. That was part 2 of the movie likeage episode, but that was just part 1 as far as you
We'll
guys
put part
know.
1 on like bonus
Yeah,
content.
Patreon. It'll be behind the
Yeah.
paywall.
Yeah.
Exactly. Episode
should do that.
61 next week. Ted Jones World. Peace.
Jones messed with the wrong melon farmers.
Ted Jones, I also call him the eighth wonder of the real estate world.
Ted Jones. Who knows? You know, it could be.
Ted Jones?
The Ted Jones World Podcast.